Hello and welcome to Talking About Success. I'm Jack Canfield, America's #1 success coach, chairman of the Canfield Trading Group, and author of numerous New York Times bestsellers, including the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, and most recently, the Success Principles, How to Get from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. And today, I'd like to welcome Elizabeth Aguilera to the show. Now, Elizabeth is a certified life coach who specializes in helping women break free from what she calls the narcissist trap so they can find peace, heal, reclaim themselves, and live the vibrant life they deserve. And she guides her clients to ditch the self-doubt, get out of their own way, and create their life by design, not by default. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Hi, Jack. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm really glad you're here. I think, it's funny, I was interviewing someone yesterday for a podcast, and she had written a book, and the whole thing was around being in a narcissist trap. And then, she kind of escapes it. But it's such a common theme now. So many women are finding themselves in that situation. So I shared a brief introduction about you, but let's start by you telling us a little bit more about yourself than I was able to get in that very brief introduction.
Thank you. I'd love to. So, yes, my life now is as a coach, but I didn't always know this path. My path was a windy road. I started out in computer science, not because I wanted it, but because that was what other people were saying was the road to success. And so I just went along and was in a 30-year career in corporate IT, and most of it was extremely unhappy. It was not where I belonged. I knew that, but I made it work. I didn't know what else to do. And I had golden handcuffs, and everything was about wanting security and a paycheck and benefits. But the universe had different plans for me, and I lost my job and my security and my identity in one fell swoop when my job was sent to India. And so that event was really the beginning of me owning my own life, figuring out what my soul was telling me to take care of all along. And it set me up on the path for where I really belong.
Now, you escaped that. And I'm just curious, once you did, how did you feel? Here you are, all of a sudden you're free, maybe not by choice. What happened then, and how did you feel about it?
It wasn't by choice. It was devastating when I lost my job. My job was a very toxic environment. It was not in alignment with who I was. I just did not know what else to do. I was sort of paralyzed with fear of the unknown. And so I just buckled down, doubled down on a job I didn't like and a career that I knew was not for me. And I made it work. But eventually I can say that devastating event, I lost my job when I was on the beach in Jamaica, by the way. That's an irony that it does not escape me. It was my liberation. I can say that now.
And you started standing up for yourself, taking charge of your life. Was that a slow transition, a decision you made in one moment? How did that work?
Oh no, that, Jack, was a really long time in coming. So I was in a narcissistic relationship for 16 years. So I met my husband when I was 16, and I asked for a divorce when I was 32. And so that was a really long time where I had no idea that I was dealing with a narcissist. I was very young. I didn't know what love was. I only had what my parents modeled for me as a relationship. And that wasn't the healthiest thing to have modeled, but that's what I knew. And so, unfortunately, I fell for a lot of the narcissist traps and tactics. And I mislabeled a lot of bad behavior for good. His jealousy was love, his controlling nature. He cared for me. He's just protecting me. I took everything that was really not right, and I made it right.
When you left, were you aware at that point that you were just unhappy and you had to get out, or did you start to understand what the narcissistic trap was at that point, or would that come later?
When I finally decided to choose me and to leave that relationship, it was, I did not know what a narcissist was. This was a long while ago, back in the 90s. It wasn't a term that was well known.
Right.
I just knew that what I was dealing with was unlike anything I had seen anywhere else. And so um, I didn't have a choice. I felt like I was dying. I truly did. My soul was dying. I don't know. A part of me was dying. And there was no choice in the matter. I had to leave. It was just pure survival.
Hmm. Now you're a coach now. What inspired you to become a coach?
It was the perfect marriage of my sort of natural born abilities, gifts, and talents with my desire to help people just like me,
Hmm.
and help them sort of shortcut, circumvent a lot of the pain that I went through all on my own. And coaching is the how that I've been looking for since I was very young. People have always come to me for support, guidance, encouragement. Um, Always since I was young. I just didn't know what to do with that. I didn't know how to help people. And coaching explains now that it's sort of everything's come full circle, coaching is the how I can help people and have a fulfilling life.
And in this process of going from being married, becoming a coach, what would you say are some of the biggest lessons you've learned? You've reclaimed yourself. You've said yes to you, no to being a victim of those kind of situations. What lessons
Yeah.
along the way have you discovered?
Lots of wonderful lessons, but the first and the biggest one that comes to mind is a need for healthy boundaries. I had no idea what a boundary was. I had no idea that I had the right to say no, to push back against things that were unrealistic expectations, whether they were in my personal or professional life. I, I just didn't have a voice. I did not speak up. I didn't speak my truth. And so I went along to get along. And so healthy boundaries at home and at the workplace are essential. They help you, um, it's part of self care. It helps you be able to have that more balanced life, a life of more well being and wholeness. And boundaries, it took me a very long time to find this out, are self care.
Very good. I'm curious, you wrote a chapter for a book that I'm in as well. It's called Success Redefined, is the book. And as you were writing that chapter for the book, I understand you had an epiphany, an awareness, an experience that was, important to you. Can you share that with us?
Yes, absolutely. My chapter is called Purpose Delayed, Not Denied. And what came out of that chapter is that toxic environments were sort of a theme in my life, in my marriage, which was very toxic, and the workplace was every bit as toxic. In both places, I allowed bad behavior by not having my own firm boundaries. In the workplace, that showed up as working constantly. They were getting rid of people. They were getting rid of jobs, sending them overseas more and more. And that increased everybody's workload. And we were just told to do more with less. We were told to just be a good team player and just take on more and more and more. And it was just unsustainable. And we were all so in fear of losing our jobs. We did everything that was told that we should do. There was no question about pushing back or anything. We were all in the same boat, and that was fear. But you do have a right to push back. You do have a right to say no. It's healthy. And again, coming from a place of wholeness and well being in your personal life, in your professional life, is extremely important.
When you started, when you were in that job, did you start to push back, or did that come later? Just the awareness as you were writing about it.
When I was in that job, there was no pushback. I was the the perfect person to always pitch in, be a team player. There's nothing wrong with that. That's really wonderful. But they will take as much as, you will give, and that will not stop unless you say no, unless you have a conversation and talk about priorities and what's necessary here, because having a career and sacrificing everything that you are and your family life and your physical well-being, your mental health is not okay. It's never okay, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Hmm. Now you're working with people that are in or similar situations to what you were in, either a toxic marriage or a toxic work situation. Can you share perhaps someone you've worked with and how you've helped them break free and where they were and where they are now as a result of that?
Yes, I'd love to share Diane's story. So she is a person who left a narcissistic relationship, but she had no idea that her partner was a narcissist. She is a woman who is independent and capable, smart, all the good things that you can imagine. Um, and narcissists tend to gravitate towards people who are just that, and empathic, people with really good hearts. And so when she ended her relationship with this person, she just could not understand why she was so mentally and emotionally drained, confused. Her self esteem was on the floor. And that's not her. That's not her at all. And so when she found out that she was dealing with a narcissistic partner, everything started to make sense. She could see the tactics, the tricks, the playbook that they follow, and the patterns. And once she was able to see all of those things, then she was able to start taking back her own power, reclaiming herself bit by bit. It took a while, but she was doing a lot of inner work and a lot of sort of healing work. And she completely changed her life. She was in a career of finance all of her career since she was in college. And she decided to completely change it. And so she works with kids now and disabled adults. And she has a very rich volunteer life. And she has absolutely changed her life around. And that's what creating your life by design looks like. Diane made the changes, she took the action steps, and she committed to that change so that she could have the vibrant life she always wanted. So you can have a very happy life after narcissistic abuse.
So, a couple quick questions. One is you don't have to be in a narcissistic relationship to create your life by design, right?
Oh, no, no, no. That is absolutely true. You can create your life by design at any point. You just have to get really clear on what it is that you want. And then when you know what it is that you want, create those action steps for how to get there. And baby steps every day, consistently, will get you where you want to go.
If someone's watching this and they're thinking, am I in a narcissistic relationship?
Mm.
You mentioned there are patterns and behaviors and a playbook. How would someone know if they're in a narcissistic relationship? What are some of the things that they would be noticing or should look for?
Great question. And the first thing that you should probably be aware of is that a narcissist, um, it'll take some time for you to figure out who they are. And so I always would caution you to go slowly when getting to know anybody. Don't divulge everything about yourself. Um, Things take time to come out. A narcissist will want to know all about you. There is something called love bombing that they do. It's at the beginning of a relationship. They put all the time and attention into you. They make you feel so special and treat you so amazingly well. You cannot believe somebody would treat you this wonderfully and be so interested in you. But what they're doing during this love bombing is they are trying to find everything out about you, your vulnerabilities, to use them against you. And so you must be very careful. Narcissists don't have any empathy. Everything is all about them. That's also very dangerous. They don't make genuine relationships or have genuine friendships. They can't. Everything is an agenda. They can't just get to know you because you're a fantastic person. There's always something that they're looking at you saying, "What can you do for me?" There's always an agenda. They are terrific manipulators. You won't even know many times that you're being manipulated. They're very good at the subtlety of it. Sometimes they're not so subtle at it as well. But they are very good manipulators. They lie. They are expert liars. And they also do something that's called gaslighting, which is psychological manipulation. It's very cruel and it's very mean. And they make you doubt your own reality. For example, you'll know that something was said, and you'll know something was done, and yet they will deny it. No, that's not how it went. And so you're like, oh well, maybe I misunderstood that. And if you keep doubting yourself time and time again, you do start to say, well, wait a minute, maybe I did misunderstand that. And it sort of chips away at your self-esteem and your confidence. And then you turn to the narcissist for validation about things. And they create a dependency on them very slowly, very deliberately. They want you to be dependent on them. They will start to devalue you. And, it's just a long list of very sad things that they chip away at you. And it's deliberate and it's intentional.
Yeah, and they're never wrong. I understand. I
Correct. They're never wrong.
I saw a quote
No.
the other day says I'm never wrong, but when I am, it's your fault.
Yeah,
uh,
that's pretty much how they think.
yeah. Now, in the book that you were in with me, your chapter, you talk about 5 pieces of advice you would give to your younger self. Can you? I don't want you to share all of them because I want people to read the book and learn the others. But can you share one of those
Mm.
pieces of advice that you would give to your younger self, which in essence you're giving to all younger women?
Yeah, I would love to. And it really is this foundational um, sharing is self-love is the gateway to everything. That's what I learned. If you take care of yourself, are kind to yourself, watch the things you say to yourself, watch your thoughts, carve out time to keep what's uniquely you, yours. Work on your individuality. So anytime you can spend doing things that your hobbies, your passions, 10 minutes of just quiet peacefulness, journaling, painting. I don't know what it is that you love to do, but don't lose that. Self-love is the cornerstone and the foundation of everything for your future. And self-love will help you be able to find your voice, speak your truth, and know who you are. And when you know who you are, then keeping those healthy boundaries wherever you go just becomes more and more natural and easier.
I'm curious what you think about this in relation to what you just shared. I know for me, if I'm not careful, I schedule all these things I'm supposed to do, like today, interviewing people and so forth. And then if there's any time left over, I get to have that time. And over the years, what I've discovered is that I need to schedule that self love time, that self caring time, put it in my schedule, whether it's meditation in the morning or whether it's, going for a run on the weekends or playing Scrabble with my wife. If it's on my schedule, I do it. And I think one of the things that we need to learn is to actually schedule time for ourselves. Would you agree with that?
100%. And this is something that I'm just learning to get better and better at myself. Self care and self love are definitely something that I am conscious about. They are in my calendar. I make sure that at the end of the day, I take a look at what I did as self care and self love for myself. And if I fell short, then I resolve to do better in the next day. But yes, scheduling it and making that sacred space, sacred time just for you is really important.
Yeah, that's great. So I love what you're doing in the world. It's really important. I'm curious if people want to get a hold of you, they want to work with you, they want to get a copy of the book, they want to find out more about all of that. Where do they go?
Well, you can get in touch with me at elizabethaguilera.lifemasteryconsultant.com. And you can find the book, Success Redefined, on Amazon.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today, Elizabeth. I really appreciate it. I'm really happy you're doing the work you're doing in the world, and I encourage you, and encourage all of you who are watching this to check out Elizabeth's website at Elizabeth Aguilera, lifemasteryconsultant.com. And it's really important. Most of us were not trained to take care of ourselves. We were trained to respond to the needs of our parents and our spouses and our teachers and our coaches and so forth. So I hope it's a revolution that's occurring of us taking better care of ourselves, and Elizabeth can help you do that. And thank you for tuning in this week, everybody. I really look forward to you joining us again next time, when again I'll be talking about some aspect of success with another teacher and thought leader who can help you live a happier, healthier, more fulfilling and purposeful life. Until then, take a good look at your relationships and make sure you feel safe being and expressing your authentic self. See you next time. Thank you for watching this episode of Talking About Success. Remember, your success is a journey. So for more information and free resources to help you, be sure to visit jackcanfield.com/learn more.